Things are heating up across the country in the top 10 of high school programs. Well, they're looking a little bit different this week with the Trinity League in California starting to absolutely dominate the top 10. Mater Dei is still unstoppable, beating Liberty in Vegas 49-7 over the weekend. St. John Bosco, the team with the toughest schedule in the country, taking care of business against East St. Louis. But when you take a look at the top 10, so there's not a ton of movement. Servite now jumping into the top 10. They were 11. They have now outscored their first three opponents 156-28. 11 through 20. Katy coming in at 11, beating Dickinson over the weekend 28-21. They have now won 11 in a row. St. Xavier now up to number 13. They've won 12 in a row. And South Lake Carroll jumping up from 17-14, but they get a tough test against Arlington Martin next. Let's welcome our good friends at MaxPreps, Steve Montoya, Zack, Poff. Zack, I want to start with you and just how dominant Southern California's Trinity League has been this season. We're used to Mater Dei, we're used to St. John Bosco, but Servite moving up big time.
Yeah, Servite's been super impressive this year. I mean, you just look at the Trinity League. I've been saying this for years. The Trinity League is the SEC of high school football. And we're seeing that on full display this year. You know, you look at Mater Dei, they're number 1. You got St. John Bosco at number 3 and Servite into the top 10 for the first time this year, checking in at number 9. And the craziest stat this year, the Trinity League, those 3 teams ranked in the top 10, they haven't even trailed at 1 point during the entire season so far. You look at Mater Dei, they started out in Texas with a 45-3 dub against Duncanville. They beat a very good Liberty team. This team's got future, FBS players, and they snapped their 13-game winning streak with a 49-7 win. And then you look at number 3, St. John Bosco. You know, we came out with our top 10 toughest schedules before this season, and St. John Bosco had the toughest schedule, and they're 4-0, and they haven't trailed at any point this year, and they've been dominating. They got a big game this week on the road in Virginia, though, against Oscar Smith, a very, very talented squad. So this will be another big test for Bosco, and then they get a week off, and then they host Mater Dei on October 1st. So that's going to be a get-your-popcorn-ready game. And then Servite, this is a team that's 3-0. They're winning by a big, big margin every single week, and they had a very impressive win in week 2 against Mission Viejo, 44-7. So they got a big test here, Sierra Canyon this week, so it'll be another game to pay attention to. But I'm liking what I'm seeing from these 3 teams, and Servite closes the year out with games against Mater Dei and St. John Bosco. So there's a good chance they're undefeated going into those last 2.
You did not give me a heads up on the great games this past weekend, so now I have it written down October 1st, Mater Dei, St. John Bosco. I'm good to go now.
You gonna make a trip out to SoCal?
We'll see about that. I'll stream it from Florida.
Okay, I'm gonna go, so just follow me on Twitter. I'll have live updates for sure.
There you go. Everybody follow Zack on Twitter. Steve, I want to talk to you really quickly. We know these out-of-state games, that would be an out-of-state game for me. They're never easy, but Bishop Gorman picking up another one over Lone Peak in Utah, and they got a tough test also coming up this week.
Yeah, Bishop Gorman, no stranger to out-of-state games, 48 and 15 since 2004 in out-of-state games. That's a lot for any high school. Most high schools don't play out-of-state games. But one of their losses to an out-of-state opponent was Hamilton in 2010. That's who they got this week. Bishop Gorman, super impressive so far though. They beat one of the top teams in Hawaii and St. Louis. They beat one of the top teams in Florida and Miami Central. Then they just beat the 3rd-ranked team in Utah and Lone Peak. And now they got Hamilton. But Hamilton's really good. Nico Markell, their 4-star QB. He was an original FSU commit. Now West Virginia has thrown for nearly 500 yards in 2 games. The lefty QB, we'll see what he can do against a very tough Gales team. But another great out-of-state game for Bishop Gorman in Hamilton in Arizona.
Zack, number 8, Collins Hill got an impressive win over Rome. Are they the favorite? And I just want you to know this makes me feel old saying 7A because these schools are so big now. But are they the favorite to win the 7A title this year?
I would say they are. North Cobb, a team we'll touch on here at the end of the show, is a new team in the top 25 rankings. They're in 7A. I think they're going to be a big test for Collins Hill. But all right, Amanda, so you're talking about climbing up the sauce ladder. The guy that's number 1 on the list is Travis Hunter, their 5-star Mr. Do Everything. Last year, he was named our MaxPreps Junior Player of the Year. You just turn on the tape of Travis Hunter and you could just get that popcorn. You could just chill for the 3 to 5 minutes, however long that highlight package is, because it's straight sauce. This guy is a big-time playmaker on both sides of the ball. Last week in that 34-0 dub against Rome, he had 10 grabs for 200-plus yards and a house call from about 80. And on defense, he gets bored out there because quarterbacks don't even look his direction. When you look at Travis Hunter and you stack him up with past great high school football players, you can make a case Travis Hunter is top 5, top 10 all time because this dude dominates on both sides of the ball. And especially, if he closes out his high school career winning a 7A state title, which would be the first in Collins Hill history, you can make a case Travis Hunter is, the best high school football player of all time.
Our producer Noah is a Florida State grad, and then of course you got Travis committed to Florida State. He says
they could have used him last week.
Exactly right. They could have used the sauce. They could have used the special sauce.
He would have made that tackle, Noah.
Oh, poor Noah. Noah's so heartbroken over this. Steve, we got to keep moving here. Number 13, St. Xavier outscored its opponents 163-31, but they have not just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tough games coming up. So can they stay this dominant?
Yeah, and as Zack mentioned, the Trinity League to start this thing off is the toughest league in the country. He's absolutely right, but the Greater Catholic League South is no joke. I mean, tons of NFL players have come from this league. It's just a brutal league. You have Archbishop Moeller, LaSalle, Elder, and St. X combined 13-3. But I do believe with Coach Steve Specht and what they're doing at St. X this year so far, I do think they're going to roll through. Brogan McCaw, their QB, super impressive so far. He's completed 70% of his passes, 10 TDs, no INTs, and he hasn't had to play full games for the most part. So I think with him under center, the great coaching staff they got there, and how they've looked on both sides of the ball, I do think that St. X will come out of the Greater Catholic League South as the champs there heading into the postseason.
Zack, you got some new teams in the top 25, 3 of them. Walk us through them.
Yeah, so checking in at number 20 is Catholic out in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. This team, they've started out hot. They're 2-0. Impressive win over Good Counsel out in Maryland in the WCAC, one of the best conferences leagues in high school football, and they smacked them 38-10. And then last week they knocked off the back-to-back 5A state champs from Louisiana, 20-0. They're just clicking on both sides of the ball. They were a team that were just on the fringe of joining the top 25, but after back-to-back impressive wins, they're easy to jump right in. And then at 24, Amanda, you brought up Collins Hill, and will they win that 7A crown? I think a team that might have something to say is North Cobb. And they check in at number 24. They got this quarterback, Malachi Singleton, one of the sauciest cats from the class of 2023. Big-time playmaker, and North Cobb's also got a bunch of dudes on defense. And that win against Milton a couple weeks ago looks even better now after Milton beat St. Joe's Prep and snapped that 18-game winning streak. And then checking in at number 25, we got a team that's very familiar with winning, and that's Dutch Fork from South Carolina. They've won 5 consecutive 5A state titles, and Amanda, over the last 52 games, they're 51-0-1. So they're pretty good at winning football games.
Yeah, a little bit there. Zack, I can't decide if you're cool or not because you say sauce and all these things, but then you say cat, and I feel like you're from Greece or something. Like you're gonna start snapping and doing a little dance.
Please stop catching on. I'm not as cool as you might think, Amanda. So.
Oh, well, you look like it and you act like it here on HQ, and that's all we need to know. Steve Montoya, Zack Poff, thanks you guys so much. Our friends over there at MaxPreps, give them a visit. And as Zack said, just follow them on social media. They have everything you need to know.